Happy to be here. As mentioned, my name is Sara Schmachtenberg, and I'm with a company called Galen Growth. The logo has been rolling around here on the bottom for all yesterday and today. Galen Growth is a leader in digital health intelligence across the globe. So our job is to know all the digital health ventures across the globe, understand what they do, who they're partnering with, their funding, regulatory approvals, clinical trials, publications, and we put it all into a platform called Health Tech Alpha. So it's not there right now, but you can see Galen Growth logo on the slides. And using that rich amount of data, we can do a lot of analysis on understanding the trends, what's going on. So today's focus of the presentation is going to be on two groups. First of all, on the startups that are looking for growth stage funding, right? So this means the late stage Series A startups and the Series B startups who are looking to grow and need the growth stage funding from investors. The other perspective is going to be, if you're a growth stage investor, who are the startups looking for funding, right? Who's going to need that over the past couple, or over the next 12 months? Okay, so really two perspectives within this presentation. Happy to talk about what that looks like. So let's jump in. Why are we focusing on growth stage? Well, if we look at the trends over the past 12 months, as we all know, funding jumped right after the pandemic, crashed back down. It's stabilizing, right? Right now, funding across the globe for digital health looks like it might meet. I'm an optimist. It's going to slightly beat last year. If you're here in Europe, a European venture, you're already set. Really, funding looks good for you. I think my colleague Julian de Saliveri talked about that a couple of hours ago here on this stage. But if you're in growth stage, looking for growth stage funding, last year and the year before were pretty dry for you. This year is looking a lot better, right? Gone from 23% of the funding deals to now 29% of the funding deals this year. So things have been looking up for growth stage companies, but there's still a lot of companies looking for that funding. And I say that because we look at, and this doesn't work on that screen either. So we look at the global funding stress, looking at how many months has it been since a venture has raised funding last. And across the globe, if you look at the growth stage companies, you have an average of 37 months, right? Which is in the deep red. You know, there are a lot of companies there that are looking for funding. Of course, this is an average. There is no average company. But on the whole, US looks a little bit better with 34.7, and Europe, if you can see that on the bottom without the chairs getting in the way, is only at 30.1. So it's in a better situation, but still there are a lot of European growth stage ventures looking for funding. But who are those ventures, and what's the ecosystem? Like, how big is that? What's the opportunity? You see the funnel. Most of you guys know a funnel, right? You start with the little new companies, and they go down through the companies that are at Series E and beyond. Of course, you're getting a smaller population as you go. I got a little ahead of myself with the number at the top there. The 7,100 refers to something later in the presentation. We're currently looking at over 11,000 active ventures across the globe in digital health. 53% of those seed stage grant funding, 22% Series A, 11% Series B, and then the late stage companies after that. So what we're going to be talking about here, as far as the ventures are concerned, are the late Series A and the Series B ventures, right? 33% of the ecosystem are the focus here for the ventures looking for growth stage investment. Question on the bottom right of your screen is, who's going to be funded in 2025, right? Which one of these, how much of this 33% is going to get funding, and who's it going to be? Well, let's look from, look at it, we're going to start to break that down, right? Because we have lots of data, so I can help you do that. 19% of those companies raised funding in the last 12 months, so they're probably not looking to raise a new round quite yet. But 81% are still really going to be looking for funding in the next 12 months. So a large population of ventures across the globe. Who are those ventures? If you're an investor, now this is where you're going to want to listen to understand who are those ventures who are going to be looking for funding. 46% of them are leveraging AI, right? Big topic, we just heard a lot about it in the last 2 sessions. So you have nearly half the ventures who are really using AI in their products. Half of them then are not at this point. Half of them located in North America, 30% in APAC, 18% in Europe, right? So depending on what your focus is, there's something for everyone there. When you break it down into the digital health clusters, right, what are their focus areas, then you start to get a better feel of who they are. Health management solutions is 15%, right? Those are those IT systems within hospitals, within clinics, right, doing the EHRs, predictive analytics, using big data. 14% are medical diagnostics companies. Again, AI-heavy companies. Patient solutions, including digital therapeutics, disease management, wellness, telemedicine's at the bottom, goes around, right? So these are the areas that these companies who are looking for growth stage funding in the next 12 months are going to be, where they're going to be focused. Okay, now we're going to switch to the venture perspective. Who are the growth stage investors, and what are they investing in, right? If I'm looking for growth stage funding, I want to know, who do I need to talk to? For Health Tech Forward, Galen Growth did a ranking of investors across the globe. Health Tech Forward helped to define some of the criteria. Who are the top 50 investors in digital health? And then we broke them down to different areas: early stage, growth stage, and then looked at some therapeutic areas such as women's health, oncology, and then across the regions as well. If you haven't downloaded the report, I highly recommend you do so. So what you see are the top 10 growth stage digital health investors from that Health Tech 50 core investor list, right? So these are the 10 growth stage investors that might be interesting for you, right? And these are the guys who you're going to say, okay, they're kind of setting the trends for the next round of investments. So if that's the case, who are they investing in? What are those trends? Obviously, focus on AI, right? We're going to take the top 5 and look at what were their investments in the past 12 months. 58% of their investees leveraged AI. 84 were in North America, right? We know that the US kind of got a head start on the rebound for digital health funding, so it's not particularly surprising to see North America taking a larger slice of the donut here. Europe will catch up next year. This is my prediction. APAC, Europe. Now, as far as digital health clusters, their focus areas were in health management solutions, medical diagnostics, and telemedicine, right? We've seen a resurge of telemedicine this past year, something that is expected to continue next year, using the AI tools to help triage and to help physicians and help clinics with their telemedicine solutions, right? So 3 different areas that were the focus last year, and of the core investors, or the top investors in growth stage funding. So now what we're going to do is, now what we're going to do, before I show you, is do a little matchmaking, right? And understand, okay, if we have group A of ventures that need funding, and we know what the trends are going to be for the investors, what does that mean? What if we cross those 2 and understand then perhaps who's going to get funding next year, right? A little bit of a game, something fun that we can do with the data, but also food for thought as to, okay, how can I use this information to inform my strategy over the next year? Okay, so we're going to take the 1,900 plus Series A and B ventures that didn't raise funding, and then break those down by the trends that we've seen. 871 of those ventures, that's the, I think we said 48%, are leveraging AI. So we're going to we start with 871. Then we break it down into the categories that we saw that were attracting the most investment. medical diagnostics, health management solutions, and telemedicine, right? So we have those three pieces of the donut, and what we end up with are 383 target ventures that fit the criteria from the top investors as to be investment targets in the next 12 months. Broken down into who are those as far as geographic areas, you can see the geography there. So if you're sitting in Europe, as we all are, you end up with 67 European ventures who are looking for growth stage funding in the next 12 months, who are in the kind of the focus areas for investment. Now, it's kind of a fun game that we like to play, right? It's an ecosystem matching game. This isn't investment advice. If you're an investor sitting in this room, as you know, you have your own criteria for investment, and you do a lot of due diligence and a lot of really digging deep into these ventures to understand who you're going to invest in. So again, this is an ecosystem analysis. But because we have information on these different companies, we can start to pick out which one of these companies are exceeding their peer group as far as their innovation, as far as the evidence that they've been generating, et cetera. Right? So this is how you can really start to focus, if you're an investor, start to focus your search for investees a little bit more, so you're not going through hundreds of pitch decks. What we do within the platform is we understand what's the average scores for a lot of these ventures, or if you look at their peer group, what is the average for their peer group, and then who's sticking out above the average, right? So that's the spidergram you see, looking across different signals, different scores and indices that we have within our Health Tech Alpha platform based on the data that these ventures have, right? And then you see, okay, well, who's exceeding the average, right? If I assume the dark blue is the average, who's exceeding that average? And that leads you then to a short list of ventures. I put some icons in the list. These aren't the only companies, of course, that we expect to excel in the next 12 months. Happy to dig into that deeper with you if you're interested in talking to me after the presentation. So, if your logo is in there, don't despair. Here's what the main points that I wanted to get across, right? After reaching that 5-year low in 2023, investment in growth stage ventures is starting to rebound, right? You're getting a larger share of investment, reaching 29% investment volume in last year, which is quite remarkable. Now, only 19% of the ventures, the Series A and Series B ventures who will be looking for growth stage funding have raised in the last 12 months. That means there's 81% of those ventures will be looking for funding in the next 12 months. So if you're a growth stage investor, there's a lot of potential, right? You have a lot of candidates. Really, the trends that we've seen investment from the past 12 months is that the focus is really on health management solutions, right? Using AI, using big data to help make decisions as well as medical diagnostics and telemedicine, right? European ventures, we know, still remain a bit under the shadow of the funding drought, but that shadow is beginning to lift. The 84% of the investment of the core investors was deployed to ventures in North America last year. So next year is looking bright for Europe. So I wish everyone good luck looking for funding for those investors. Happy to talk to you if you want to learn more about how to get some more data to do your investment. But otherwise, I wish everyone a good lunch. Thank you.